What's going on, guys? Astro here with Hidden Profits Crypto. Before we get into today's video, as usual, I want to give a huge thanks to everybody who's been supporting the channel. We got a lot of new subs and we're on our way to 5K. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, make sure to do so. We upload 3 videos a week on low cap, hidden gems, and other great projects. So if that sounds interesting to you, you don't want to miss out, make sure to hit the sub button and tick the notification bell for all my future videos. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so today we're going to be taking a first look at a pretty cool project called Router Protocol. Now, Router Protocol basically enables you to interact and bridge liquidity between different blockchains. So we know that there are a ton of projects in DeFi, and a lot of them are kind of singled out in their own little ecosystem or their own little blockchain. So it's kind of hard to get liquidity to interact between the different protocols. So basically, Router is enabling these protocols to basically link their liquidity together and interact between them. So without getting too far into it, we're going to take a look at the Twitter, the website. I got a presentation for you guys, and hopefully by the end of the video, you guys have somewhat of a opinion on if you want to hop into Router, if it's something that you're interested in. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so here we are at the Twitter, at Router Protocol. Like I said, it is a efficient cross-chain liquidity routing. Now, there's not a lot I really want to go over here on the Twitter, but you can see that the main net is now live, and that was on the 27th of January, which was relatively recent. So they have some other things on here like transferring funds from Polygon to BSC, some listings, and a lot of other information. So like with any other project, I suggest you guys come follow them so you can stay up to date with all their future updates and whatnot. They have their Telegram, Discord, and website links all right here. So anyways, let's go ahead and head over to the website and get into it. All right, so the future of cross-chain infrastructure layer enabling communication between blockchains. So you can click here and launch the main net. I will show you guys the application here in a second, but it is a cross-chain protocol that enables fund transfers, asset swaps, and cross-chain applications. Now, I'm not gonna go super in-depth into what is here on the website because I've basically summed up most of the information in the presentation, which we will do here in a minute. So Router Protocol offers optimal price swaps for token swaps, unified gas fees, cross-chain settlement engine, SDK for developers so they can create cross-chain applications, multi-chain token standard, and application-specific blockchain. So be a part of the cross-chain future. There is the GitHub link, some partnership proposals if you'd like to get in touch, and bounty program for bugs, which is always great. They have a very quick summary of the roadmap. So we got test V2 launched in November, January, which is the mainnet launch, which we just had. So for March, we're looking at a cross-chain explorer, which we'll talk about a little bit more. Router SDK for the developers, integration with non-EVM chains in June, and a dedicated chain to host the router infrastructure coming up in August. So here is some of the chains on a mission to integrate with every chain. So these are all the chains that they want to integrate with. You know, a lot of big names here. Backed by the best, you can see here some of the backers, Coinbase Ventures being a big one, as well as Polygon, and then some tech partners, Algorand, Terra, Certic, Polygon, Avalanche, and a lot of these other blockchains and auditors. So that basically wraps it up here. Let's go ahead and head over to the dApp, and I'll show you guys what's going on over there. So here we are. This is the app. You can just get to that through clicking that launch mainnet link on the website, but you can see your dashboard here, all of your balances of your tokens, connect your wallet up here, as well as the swap. So, you know, for example, here you can swap, you know, between Polygon and BSC. It shows what fee token you're going to use, and you can pick USDC route DFYN or Matic, or if you were to swap this, you're actually able to pay for it in BNB. So we'll talk about how the fees are kind of structured. So this more or less allows you to swap between direct tokens on BSC straight to tokens on Polygon, which is really cool, as well as you can manage your liquidity here if you want to provide some liquidity. And yeah, so it is an alpha. It's relatively new. So, you know, it's kind of bare bones, but I'm sure they will add more in the future. Anyways, let's go ahead and head over to the presentation, which will basically give you all the information you're going to need to make a choice whether you want to invest in this project or not. So here we are at the presentation, router protocol, efficient cross-chain liquidity routing. So what problem does router solve? It solves liquidity fragmentation. So the DeFi sector consists of over $1 trillion that is spread across the crypto ecosystem, which is made up of 5,000 plus different currencies, each contained in their own infrastructures. This means that liquidity cannot be accessed from each other. So as liquidity fragments between these isolated pools, it loses efficiency, velocity, and becomes increasingly difficult to utilize. So to solve this, a system is needed to port liquidity from blockchain to blockchain, and this is where router protocol comes in. This increases efficiency and flexibility of DeFi as more institutional investors enter the space. So problem solved with cross-chain bridges. So cross-chain bridges fill the gap, allowing liquidity to flow across the blockchains. These blockchains can work between two blockchains, a blockchain and a side chain, or between two side chains. So this creates interoperability that allows for the transfer of tokens, data, and even smart contract instructions between independent platforms. So we know with all these different blockchains and all these different applications, one of the big things I definitely think we will see in the future is a lot of these projects that are offering interoperability kind of coming to a head, because when there's just so many options, you're really going to want to go from just kind of one central thing. You know, like Harmony, they want to link between all these other blockchains too. So a lot of these projects that focus on interoperability, I think will do very well in the future. So some issues with the current solutions. So current cross-chain infrastructures require one-to-one bridges. So each time a new chain is added, a separate bridge must be created for each chain. This causes discrepancies in connectivity, value transfer, and cost. Most of these protocols are ERC20 states only, and no public records of the transactions that go through the bridges. So here is kind of a chart that shows if you were to add a new chain, all the bridges that would have to be added to that. So, you know, you have the one-to-one chains or bridges between each one of these chains. And if you were to add a new one, then you would have to add a one-to-one bridge between each one of these already existing chains to the new one, which just kind of creates a real like messy web of bridges. So what does Router do differently? Instead of using these one-to-one bridges, it uses a mesh network where these chains are connected through a set of router nodes. The nodes can write transactions, listen to all blockchains that are connected to the mesh. And new chains can be added by pushing relevant configurations to all the nodes that are already there. So again, another example here. You have all the nodes here. So router nodes have preset config to listen for inbound transactions from all the chains that are part of the XCLP's mesh. So you can see here Polygon, BSC, Terra, etc., all connecting to these nodes. And then if you want to add a new chain, it's basically just connecting to all these nodes, which are already connected with all the other blockchains. So some of the features of Router include flexible fees. So router transactions can be paid in either route or the DFYN tokens. You can also use USDC, or you can use the source chain native gas token. So for example, if the source chain is Polygon, you could just use Matic, or as I showed you, on BSC, you can just use BNB. So any token to any token swap across chains. So you can convert any asset A on chain X to asset B on chain Y. So for example, a token on Polygon would be able to swap to a token on BSC. It's also plug and play for the developers. So like we said earlier, devs can use Router's SDK to easily build these cross-chain applications, which I think will be very important in the future, as well as proprietary Pathfinder algorithm. And this basically lets you find the most optimal route for cross-chain swaps, ensuring that you're getting the best price when you're swapping. So as well as a isolated execution module, and this ensures that no malicious code can be drained from the original bridge contract reserve. So, we don't see something like the recent wormhole exploit. So it also features something called R assets. These R assets are wrapped assets that are a representation token similar to LP tokens. So our assets are one-to-one with the underlying asset, and they can only be minted if that underlying asset is locked in reserve. So cross-chain transactions with these R assets are much faster and cheaper since there's no DEX interaction required. And these can also be used to create LP tokens on DFYN, which is a multi-chain decentralized exchange, and you can earn liquidity mining rewards through there. So for example, the pairing RUSDC with USDC, you can just go ahead and get those LP tokens and gain those rewards. And the current supported R assets right now are RBNB, RMatic, and RSDC. So what is token utility for Route? Well, holders of Route can take part in governance by voting. We see this with a lot of projects now. You hold a token, you get some say-so in the project. A small cross-chain transaction fee that is distributed to validators and liquidity providers. And you can also use Route to pay for gas and transaction fees for cross-chain transactions. So basically they kind of take the transaction fee and the gas fee and just kind of lump it into one, and you can just go ahead and pay that with Route. And then you also pay 50% less for transaction fees if you pay in Route compared to USDC or the native gas token. So lastly, some important future plans for Router protocol. So Router v2 launch, which is a dedicated chain to host Router's infrastructure, as well as using inter-blockchain communication, or IBC, to connect to the whole Cosmos ecosystem, which is pretty wild. Integration with non-EVM chains such as Terra and Solana. So we've seen, the Terra partners there. That makes sense. Integration with other EVM compatible chains like Avalanche, Phantom, and Harmony, etc. And Cross-Chain Explorer to index all of Router's cross-chain transactions. So like we said previously, a lot of these other systems don't really have anything to keep track of all these transactions that are going across the chain. So Router is going to build a Cross-Chain Explorer, as well as cross-platform staking program between Router protocol and the DFYN exchange. So that's going to be it for Router. I definitely hope that this video brought you some information and enough that you can kind of make a judgment call on whether you want to get involved in this project or not. Like I said, I think there's a ton of potential for a lot of these projects that provide interoperability between the different chains, as in the future I'm sure there will be even more than there is now. And there's so many different ones right now, and it's kind of hard to connect between them. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below letting me know what you guys think about Router protocol and if it interests you. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, as we upload 3 videos a week that are very similar to this kind of content. So if you don't want to miss out on that, make sure to sub and hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with all my future videos. Also, make sure to go follow me at @hidden_crypto on Twitter so you guys can get any updates that I release in the future, as well as when I go live. We're also doing a live stream now once a week on Fridays. So if you want to know when that's going to be happening, make sure to go follow me on Twitter. Anyways, that's going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. And until then, peace.